So today we are going to see what are the exchange forces. If the neutrons are being scattered from the protons and these are detected in a proton, which are being bombarded on a proton gas, and they are being detected in a detector. So here we can see that we call this as the scattering angle, and if I plot a graph of a scattering angle versus the number of the scattered neutrons, you can see that if I plot a graph of, so this is a number of scattered neutrons versus this scattering angle theta. So this is the scattering angle. For the scattering angle 0, more number of neutrons are scattered, and if you go on increasing the scattering angle, okay, so for example here the scattering angle is 0, here the scattering angle increases, again scattering angle increases, again increases, here it will be somewhere 90, here it will be somewhere around 180 degrees. So here it will be 180 degrees. So if I measure the number of scattered neutrons at the 0 scattering angle, that number is very large as compared to the number of neutrons which are detected in a detector at an angle of the 30 degree or the 90 degree. So suppose this is a scattering angle 90 degree. So the number of neutrons which are collected at a 90 degree, they are very small as compared to the number of scattered neutrons at a 0 degree. So the number of scattered neutrons goes on decreasing as the scattering angle increases. So this is how this graph explains. But surprisingly, after this the number of neutrons again goes on increasing, and it is the maximum at the 180 degrees again. So this explains, so this is quite surprising that this is quite simple, and according to the classical mechanics, that as the scattering angle goes on increasing, the number of scattered particles will go on decreasing. Up to here it is okay, but after that it was found that nearly at the 180 degree the number of neutrons was maximum. So this type of interaction or this type of a scattering can be explained only with the help of an exchange force. It means that this will happen only if, suppose this is the incoming neutron and this is the proton, target proton, and here we can see that, so this is so if this neutron is being converted itself into the proton, or if this proton is converting itself into the neutron, and then only the more number of the neutrons will be found nearly at the 180 degrees. It means that this neutron must be converting itself into the proton, and this proton, which is a target particle, that must be converting itself into the neutron, and that must be backscattered. So this type of interaction is not understood by the help of the classical mechanics, or the classical mechanics doesn't allow us for such type of interaction. But yes, quantum mechanics allows us such type of interactions if such type of interactions are present only for a very short time. It means that the neutron can convert itself into the proton, or the proton can exchange itself into the neutron if this such type of interaction is for a very short time. And we know that according to the quantum electrodynamic theory, if there is any kind of interaction, that interaction must be mediated through some exchange particle. So that we have already studied in a previous lectures, where we have studied the nuclear forces. So here we can see that whenever there is interaction between any two particles, that must be through some exchange of some particles. And if this neutron is exchanging itself into the proton, or a proton and neutrons are getting exchanged, then that interaction must be mediated through some exchange particle, and that particle here we call it as a virtual photon, or it is also called as a pion. This pion we have already studied in our previous lectures. Okay, so this the pions are of three types, as pi plus, pi minus and pi 0. So this pi plus and pi minus are of 139.6 MeV, whereas this pi 0 is of 135 MeV. So this is the mass of the pi plus and pi minus, and whereas this pi 0 is a little bit lighter than this pi plus and pi minus. Okay, so let us see how this interaction occurs between the NP and PP interactions. So this is somewhere of the 300 MeV. If it goes on decreasing the energy of the neutrons, so say like it is 90 MeV, the nature of the graph will be same, but it will be more number of the neutrons will be scattered. So this will be the graph for some more lower energies, so say nearly 42 MeV. But yes, the nature of the graph is same, that number of neutrons scattered at the 0 degree is more than the number of the neutrons scattered at the 90 degree, and surprisingly again the number of the neutrons goes on increasing at you reach the scattering angle of 180 degrees. So let us see how this exchange of the neutron and the proton takes place by the pions, by exchange of the pions. So as I have already told you that pions are of three types: pi plus, pi minus and pi 0. Okay, and if I consider the NP interaction, so if there is an interaction between a neutron and a proton, so this type of interaction can be mediated by all of these pions. So see here, so this neutron can be converted into the, so it can be converted into the neutron and by giving out the pi 0, and this pi 0 can be absorbed by this proton and it can still remain a proton, or proton can remain proton by giving out pi 0, and this pi 0 can be absorbed by this neutron and it can give a neutron. So this NP interaction mediated by pi 0 can be explained by the equations like this. So this NP interaction can be mediated by pi 0, pi plus and also by pi minus. So if this proton can be converted into the neutron by giving out the pi plus pion, and this neutron can absorb this pi plus and it can convert it itself into the proton. So this is how the proton can be converted into the neutron and neutron can be converted into the proton by exchange of these pions. Similarly, so this neutron can be converted into the proton by giving out the pi minus, and this pi minus can be absorbed by the proton and it can be converted into the neutron. In this way, this NP interaction can be mediated by pi 0, pi plus and pi minus pions. PP interactions or PP interaction or NN interaction can be mediated only by pi 0. This PP interaction or NN interaction can be mediated only through the pi 0 pion, which is explained over here. Okay. So this PP interaction and NP interaction is a result of the exchange forces of the pions. Now if we compare the strength of the NP interaction and PP interaction or NN interaction, it is seen that the strength of all this NP interaction, PP interaction and NN interaction is the same. There is a little bit of difference actually, but it can be neglected. So it can be said that the strength of the NP interaction, PP and NP interaction is the same, and therefore we can say that the interaction between all these nucleons is a charge symmetric. We know that the neutron is a chargeless particle, whereas a proton has a positive charge. It means that the charges on the neutron and proton are different. Even if the charges are different, there is no difference in the interaction between these chargeless particles or these positively charged particles or this a chargeless and positively charged particle. Here it can be seen that the strength of the interaction between the chargeless and a charged particle, or between the two charged particles, or between the two neutral particles is the same. It means that there is a charge symmetric interactions. Here charge means nucleons, or the charge on the nucleons. Charge independence means if there is a potential well of the nucleus, the neutron and the protons are treated in the same way, which we call the single pion exchange potential, or a single pion exchange model, or a single particle exchange model, that we are going to see in details in a second unit, which is a shell model of the nucleus. So you just remember that there is a charge independence. It means that if there is a potential applied by the nucleus, the neutron and the proton they are having the same attractive force or the same repulsive force due to the nucleus. So this is a nucleus and these are the protons and neutrons. So this neutron and this proton will have same potential applied by this whole nucleus on this. So this is called as a charge independence. So we have seen that this exchange forces are due to the exchange of the pions. Similarly, if you go for the higher energies of the neutrons, suppose we have studied everything about the low energy NP scattering, nearly up to 300 MeV we have seen. So if you go beyond this 300 MeV, or if you go for the higher energies beyond this 300 MeV, for a higher energies, so this single pion exchange becomes dominant, and this single pion exchange is called as a tensor force. So below 300 MeV the exchange forces are active, and exchange force means exchange of pions and all, but the single pion, but most of the time the nuclear forces are due to the multiple meson exchange or the multiple pion exchange. But if you go for the higher energies beyond 300 MeV, then the single pion exchange is dominant, and the single pion exchange can be expressed, or this tensor force can be expressed in a mathematical way as, so this is T1, T2, S12 and V of R. So this T1 and T2 are the isospin operators of nucleon 1 and nucleon 2. This V of R is a central potential. And this S12 is another operator which can be given by S into S1, S2 minus S1 dot S2. So at the higher energies, say above 300 MeV, these tensor forces are active, which is due to the single pion exchange, and below this 300 MeV, the exchange of the particles or the exchange forces are active, which is due to the meson exchange. More than one meson exchange is there for the lower energy.